Hello friends, today I'll be making a video on how to register a ship in India and what are carving and marking notes and their specifications. Let's get started. Let's start with the understanding that what is the qualification required for a ship to be registered in India. The requirement is that ship must be fitted with a mechanical means of propulsion, must be at least 15 ton or above, howsoever employed, and those less than 15 ton are not required to be registered provided they are employed solely on the coast of India. Let's see the step 1 now. The intended owner of a ship will approach the principal officer of the MMD at the port of registry, and then the principal officer will appoint a registrar. Registrar maintains a book of registry containing provisions as follows. So the provision for Indian ships is the property in a ship shall be divided into 10 shares. Then not more than 10 persons entitled to be the owner of the same ship. Then further it says that not more than 5 persons can be registered as a joint owner of a ship. And finally, a company may be registered as the owner of the ship. Then the owner or owners of the ship provide the following documents to the registrar along with the Form 15. The first is declaration of ownership, that you have to prove that ship actually belongs to you. Then builder's certificate, which says that certificate signed by the builder of the ship containing true information about where and when the ship was built and what is the estimated tonnage of the ship by the builder. Then the third, if the ship had been purchased, the instrument of sale under which the property of the ship was transferred to the applicant. Now let's understand the declaration of ownership. Every declaration of ownership shall be made before a registrar, a justice of the peace, a commissioner of the oaths, or an Indian consular officer. And if the declaration of ownership is made at a place other than the port of registry, the place of attestation shall be stated in the declaration. And now that application along with the 3 documents is attached, the next step is survey and measurement. After the registrar has satisfied himself as to the evidence of ownership, he shall cause the ship to be surveyed by a surveyor. The surveyor will then survey the ship and ascertain her tonnage as per the rules of tonnage measurement of the ship 1960. And after the survey is complete, he shall grant a certificate of survey to the ship. Now there are chances that sometimes the ship is at a port outside of India. During such time, the DG Shipping may assign a surveyor, or they may request the government of the country where the ship is lying to appoint a qualified surveyor to survey the ship so that the certificate of survey may be issued. An important thing to remember is, for naming the ship, the owner or his agent must notify the registrar the intended name of the ship at least 14 days before the date on which they desire to bring the effect of registry. On receipt of such notice, the registrar shall inform the DG about the notice and shall not register the ship under that name unless it is approved by the DG. And now that the application and the documents have been received by the registrar, then the registrar must approach the DG for allotment of an official number. Once official number is allotted and the name has been approved by the DG, the certificate of survey has been granted by the surveyor, the registrar shall issue to the owner a carving and marking note. And this note is returned to the registrar after the carving and marking has been duly carried out and certified by a surveyor. Now let's see the details of the marking. Every ship before registry is marked permanently and conspicuously to the satisfaction of a registrar. And the requirements are: her name shall be marked on each of her bow, her name and name of her intended port of registry is marked on her stern, on a dark background with white or yellow letters, or on a light background with black letter, which shall not be less than 1 decimeter or 4 inches in height and 1.3 centimeters or half an inch in breadth. Her official number and the number denoting her registered tonnage shall be cut in on her main beam, and then her scale of draft marks shall be cut or welded in feet and inches and in meters and decimeters in 2 columns side by side, both forward and aft of the ship, on the port and starboard side respectively. The relative position of the 2 rows of markings should be separated by a reasonable distance in order to avoid errors in reading them. And then at the end of this procedure, the registrar shall make entry of particulars in the register and then issue to the owner a certificate of registry. Here is a bit more information about the carving and marking note that may be asked by the surveyor during the examination. As you're already aware, 14 days before, the owner is required to give notice to the registrar about the intended name of the ship. And once this name has been approved and the official number is allotted, this has to be engraved on a brass plate 30 cm into 6 cm and placed conspicuously at the wheelhouse. IMO number is to be welded as per Regulation 3.4 of Chapter 11 Part 1, Special Measures to Enhance Maritime Safety of SOLAS 1974 as amended, to be verified by Consular Officer or MMD or IRS as authorized by the Registrar of the ship. So finally, I summarize the procedure. The owner of the ship approaches the principal officer at the Port of Registry MMD, who is then allotted a registrar. An application is made to the registrar along with the 3 documents that are required, which is declaration of ownership, builder's certificate, and if the ship has been purchased, the instrument of sale. Then, the registrar would cause a survey of the ship. The surveyor is allotted and her tonnage is ascertained. Then the name of the ship, which has been approved based on the request made by the owner 14 days prior the day of registration. Also, an official number is allotted to the ship owner. Then, a carving and marking note is given to the owner. This carving and marking note contains the details of marking that is required, which contains marking forward and aft of the ship, a brass plate, and draft marks. All this marking is done to the satisfaction of the registrar. Then the registrar will make an entry of the ship particulars in the register and issue a certificate of registry. I hope it was a useful video for you. If you have any feedback, suggestion or comment, please write below. Thank you for watching.